everybody, it's Tony Robbins. It's Tony Robbins Podcast. I'm real excited to be with you today because you can see this is a little different podcast. What's different about it is, I've had the privilege of working with some of the greatest athletes in history, and I've been to some of the most amazing fights, both boxing and UFC. This last January, I got to work with Conor McGregor, which was a great privilege, and watch him win the fight in the first 40 seconds and all the electricity of that, but also the beauty of sportsmanship, of watching Conor go over there and hug his opponent, afterwards, and sincere, and acknowledge his grandmother, who was Cowboy, his opponent's greatest influence. So sports can bring out the best in us or the worst in us. It depends on our character. And I've worked with a lot of amazing athletes over the time, and during their tough times and during some of their best times. But when people see boxing or UFC, I think a lot of times they think it's just ruffians, people just beating up on each other, and they don't understand the discipline involved in boxing or martial arts. The boxing's often called, the sweet sport. It's a combination of skill sets and intellect. It isn't just physical force. And the greatest in history are the ones that can combine their psychology, their spirit, their soul, and that physical body to produce extraordinary results. And I think we all need to be able to face our fears and move forward. So I thought in the middle of this kind of COVID environment, it might be nice to visit, ringside with a legend. And I'm here with an unbelievable legend, the only man to be a 4-time world boxing champion, Evander Holyfield. Thank you, brother, for taking the time to visit with us.
Thank you.
Now, we were talking just before we started about interviews. I said, how many interviews you've done over your life? And would you share what you shared with me? I was like, here's this incredibly powerful man, and what was it like in the beginning?
Well, it was the most scary thing. It was harder than the fight, just to guessing what this person may ask me, and can I answer it properly?
Yes. And how did you learn to deal with that over the years? You built, obviously, to now it doesn't bother you, but what did it take to get there? Because I heard it really was tough on you in the beginning.
Well, it's this thing, knowing that if you make a mistake, you know that you made one. And people make mistakes, but repetition is what makes people better.
Yeah, well, that's true in fighting or in life. So listen, tell us a little bit about your childhood a little bit, if we could start there, because you started fighting when you were like 7 years old, if I understand correctly. Is that right? Or 8 when you were in the box?
I started at 8 years old. What happened, I was coming from the football field, and I seen the guy hitting his speed bag. So I want to go in and ask him. I said, sir, can I hit the speed bag? And the man looked at me and said, no. I said, why? He said, because you have to be on the boxing team. I said, well, sir, I want to be on the boxing team. He said, no. So the next day I asked him, he said, no. And then the next day he said, no. On the 4th day, I looked at him, he looked at me, and I turned my head and started walking the other way. He turned his back, and I ran up there and asked him again.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
He said, yeah.
Wow.
I come in there.
Tell us a little about who influenced your life the most, and not only in boxing, but in life.
My mom.
Yeah.
My mom was, my mom actually my everything, that got me started.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for my mother, telling where I would have been.
I was so touched. At 8 years old, is that when the guy said you think he could be world champion?
Yes.
And you were at the boys club?
Yep.
Tell us that story, and then tell us what you said to the man when he said you could be world champion.
Well, the man told me I could be the heavyweight champion of the world. And he said,
at 8 years old?
Yeah, 8 years old. He said, what you think? I said, I got to ask my mama. And he looked and he said, you don't want to be the heavyweight champion? I said, but I got to ask my mama. He said, what are you talking about? I said, if I don't ask my mama, I can't even try. My mama said, no, that's it.
That's right.
So, and that's when the man looked at me and said, you got a good mom.
And so you did ask your mom. Did you ask her that night?
I sure did.
And what'd she say?
I asked my mom, and this is how it was. We had the little house, and everybody in the front room looking at TV. So when I come in, they looked at me and they said, where you going? I said, I got to ask mom. I said, what you going to ask mom? So if they trying to find out if I'm in trouble or not, because I'm in trouble, they know they may get a little piece of that. And I guess—
Because they're older, they should be looking out for you, right?
Yeah. So I go in there and I start trying to tell my mama what this man was trying to tell me. And so my mama kind of talked real loud. She said, what you say? I said, Mama, this white man at the boys club said I can be the heavyweight champion of the world. And my mom looked. She looked up, then when she get that look, I got to step back because she may swing. So she.
Did you become a great boxer?
Yeah,
I'm learning how to avoid your mom's swing.
I'm telling you, I got to get them hands up there quick. Because she always go for the head. She never go to the body. Always to the head. And so what happened? My mama said, "Do you know what they're going to do to you?" So I just act like I didn't. I said, "No, man." She said, "They're going to hit you." And I looked at her and I started laughing because all my brothers and sisters hit me. I get 3 whoopings a day. And now, I'm accustomed to getting hit. so getting hit ain't nothing new. So my mom said, well, you can't hit them back. And she said, yeah, you can do it. Like that. And I remember going in the bathroom, looking in the mirror and saying, Evander Holyfield, heavyweight champion of the world. So when I went back and told my coach, my mama said I could be the heavyweight champion. And he said, what? Coach, here I am. I'm 65 pounds. I'm telling my coach, my mama said I could be the heavyweight champion of the world.
But what was the advice she gave you? She gave you 3 pieces of advice that you've repeated your whole life.
Listen, follow direction, don't quit.
How important has that been in your life?
That still goes on today.
Yeah.
Because things still get tough.
Of course.
And you have to not quit.
Now, you're 58 years old, and one of the reasons I'm here is I know you're in the best shape of your life. You look like you're 25, and you want to fight with Mike Tyson again. There were pretty legendary fights in those 90s that you guys had. The history you guys have is amazing, and what I love about both of you is you're both such incredibly intense competitors, and you tease and taunt each other, but you really do have a friendship as well. Tell me what you respect about Mike Tyson.
Well, this guy's is a lot bigger, but Mike's arm was shorter than everybody's.
Yeah, and he still destroyed them all.
He hit them first and all this, and I seen him fighting guys 6'5", 6'6", and he get in the peekaboo style and get in there. He's just like a rattlesnake, man. He get them so fast and all that.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I realized, I see, if he can do it, I could do it. So
he actually was a role model for you at one stage.
Well, yeah, because the thing is,
you're older than him, right?
No, yeah, I'm 4 years old. I'm 4 years older than him, but. I'm telling you, he got in there. I'm telling you, he got the first opportunity. He beat these guys, and I said, if Mike can do it, I could do it. I said, ain't no. Now I became the cruiserweight champion. When I became the cruiserweight champion, I thought that was great. When I beat the white Mama Quarweed on my 12th professional fight, went 15 rounds, lost 15 pounds, and all this.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, after I came the undisputed cruiserweight champion, then the thing is that, shoot, Mike get $2 million a fight. I get $200,000 a fight. So I go ask the Showtime people, what's the difference? They said, well, Mike, the heavyweight champion of the world. I said, how much you give me as I move up to heavyweight? They said, Mike gonna kill you, man. I said, no. I said, we sparred before.
Yeah.
Like that. And all of a sudden, when that time came, the whole big thing was, all right, you beat all these guys. So the avenue we took, it was to fight all the people that Mike fought.
Yeah.
And I started getting them guys. And
so your confidence built even more then.
You know what? My confidence built, but the decision that I made, I could stay comfortable and just be the cruiserweight champion and make that $200,000, or I could be heavyweight champion of the world and make some millions.
You want to fight Mike today? Why? Mike Tyson. Why do you want to go back and have that fight?
Well, the thing is, it's competition. The thing in competition, that my whole thing is that now I only want to do it if he want to do it.
Yeah, if he wants to do it.
Because it's the fact of the matter is that it would be fun because both people know how good we are.
Yes. The whole world knows how good both you are.
And then people want to know, okay, then even at this old age, who would get the best?
Yeah.
And so the point of the matter, you know what? I don't think that Tyson and I can get in the ring and not think about who the best.
That's right.
I know it's not one time in my life I'm gonna go in the ring with nobody that I ain't thinking I'm even gonna get the best.
Yeah.
Now I got to sit with you now. Now I really want to fight.
Well, Mike has talked about, he's talked publicly about, of all the fighters he ever went, that you're one of the toughest he's ever experienced. Lennox Lewis said that. I mean, you look at the top 4 fighters, heavyweights, they've all talked about how tough you are. Where's that toughness come from?
My mom. I'm saying, all this stuff started at a young age. When your parent wants you to be better than them, they start telling you things. I'm saying, but if they never tell you these things, then how can you be better than them?
Yeah.
You're going to be better if your parents start telling you, look, you don't need to make these mistakes that I make. You're going to be a lot farther. And that's what my mama did. And the first thing was that tongue. She said, all right now. She said, my tongue, I can control my tongue. She says, you know what? I was a fool. And she said, let me tell you what a fool do. Fool don't get promoted. And that's all I did. My whole life got promoted because I was able to shut that mouth.
And your mama, you talk about the sacrifice. Your mama, you want to go to that prom so bad. Tell people the story about that and what you did instead and how it shaped your life.
Well, I had to go to Canada, Quebec, Canada, and had to fight. And I was mad. And I win the tournament. And I was still...
Instead of going to the prom, though, right?
But still going to prom.
Yeah.
And I remember everybody saying, you missed your prom, man, you missed it. And then here it is in 1987, and I'm a champion of the world. and everybody said, man, you ain't coming out the room. I said, no, because my mama told me, if you learn to, you the talent. If you mingle with these people, you're gonna lose. Yeah. But you stand here, and when they have to go to, now when it come Monday, they got to go to work. You got 2 weeks home.
That's awesome.
So you're looking for your advantages that what you have. She said, okay,
Sounds like your mom was great at getting you to see what you had instead of what you didn't have.
Right.
And I think most people, it's like I always tell people, what's wrong is always available, so is what's right. And your mama really guided that. What an amazing gift that your mama has been in your life. What would she be most proud of in you today?
Well, I'm telling you, my mama, all the awards that my mama got, once I became the champion of the world at cruiserweight from 1986 to 1996, she get all these awards because everybody said, I said, not my mom. I said, I'm telling you, I wouldn't have been here. I said, for all the things, I said, but one thing that I realized, my mama didn't play. When my mama said, zip it up, she mean now, not later. I said, if you did, you get it right then and there. I said, now, I've been slapped in this mouth and got soap put in this mouth because of things I said. I said, one time, I ain't wanted no more. I don't like the taste of soap.
I've had those experiences too. My mama shaped me too, brother. She really did. She was an intense character. But you look at it and it's like what you think you want your mama to be versus what God gives you, always something greater. There's always some lesson in there. And if she'd been the mama I thought I wanted her to be, I wouldn't be the man I'm proud to be either. So mamas out there, we honor you and send love to you. And dads out there too that decide to give your all for your kids. That's what the life's really about, man. And you're such a beautiful example of that.
And thank you.
I grew up totally poor too. And a few years ago, I went and interviewed 50 billionaires, self-made, nobody from the Lucky Sperm Club, all guys that earned it on their own from the very beginning. And I wanted to learn from them because I wanted to help people, because most people don't understand finance and most people don't get trained in it. And I watched so many athletes, so many entertainers, singers, writers, directors, actors, lose everything. And you went through that experience. It's horrific.
Yeah, sure did.
You gave up your 54,000 square foot mansion. You lost it all, $500 million. What'd you learn from that? Because I see it happen to boxers today and athletes today. What'd you learn from that experience? And what could you tell somebody who's younger today so they can avoid not have to go through the pain you've had to go through? And how did you make it through it? Because most people just be devastated, but you just kept going. You didn't give up.
Well, so that's the point of being thankful for where you came from.
Yeah.
I came from nothing. And so if a person came from nothing, they know they got there because of what they did. Yeah. So the whole big thing, if I don't quit striving for it But one of the big part is forgive. You got to forgive yourself because you don't want to let them do this to you. Now, because you can sit here and blame. I can't believe these people did this. Well, if you can't believe it, then you probably still have your money. But you got to believe it because you ain't got the money. You lost everything because you believe they did what they did.
Yeah.
Now you got to forgive them, and you got to make some adjustments. And I made a lot of adjustments, and it's a part of life because this is what.
So you saw it as your mistakes to allow them to do it to you, as opposed to I'm a victim. Yeah. They did this to me, so my life is over. You just picked it up and said, I learned from this shit, and I'm going to move on. And how did you forgive?
Because that's a part of love. You think you love somebody, you can't forgive nobody. You really don't love them. So you're just telling yourself a story. You have to forgive to be able to make adjustment, to be able to receive when somebody else. All of a sudden, you get yourself to a point where that you don't trust nobody. Then, anytime somebody trying to help you, you got that eye on them.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you make the situation hard. And the person said, "Well, I tried to help him." But God, hey, somebody don't scare them to death, so he don't take no chances. So I can't work with him.
Yeah. People today are so afraid to take chances. I mean, if you've been in business for any period of time, 10, 20, 30 years, you've got people to steal from you. And it's just part of the process of you learning not to leave the candy store open and blame them, right, for a child coming and taking it. I really respect you for doing that. But how did you build back from that time, though? I mean, to go from $500 million to literally nothing, part of it was just your history that I grew up dead poor too. So it's like, okay, I've been here before, so I can build again. What was the mindset?
The mindset is that, God is not finished. When people go through something hard because something great is coming.
Yeah, I believe it. God's delays are not God's denials, right?
I'm telling you, and it's a part of life. I think about if I was a kid and when my mama kept just telling me, and I just, everybody that I knew that was young, that was my age, and all that. Everybody was doing everything for them, and they were grinning, they were laughing, they were smiling, they were going to the prom and all this and stuff. And I was like, I started feeling sorry for myself.
Yeah.
So I still got that same picture that I showed to my son. I said, see this picture? Well, Daddy, you don't look like you happy. I said, well, I'm happy now. I said, but I'm trying to tell you, it's a decision, some things I'm gonna tell you can't do. And you probably gonna be looking just like this. I said, but at the end, I said, look how happy I am. You wasn't happy there? I said, yeah. I said, but that's just a moment.
Yeah.
I said, what kind of man you want to be? I said, now, your kids want to go this, and I said, look, why do y'all think that y'all got this great education? I said, you know what? It didn't cost me nothing for education. I said, it cost me $15,000 a year for y'all to go to this school, this early education and all this. I said, but I'm happy to do it. I said, because you won't have to cry like me, wondering why, because my mama had to come and give me my first whooping in school because this guy told me, you're not smart. And when he told me that, and I punched him right in the doggone eye. And my mama came and gave me a whooping in the school, and I had to apologize to the teachers and the student.
Wow.
Right? My mama said, you don't hit nobody.
So it's a profession. It's not something you just go use randomly.
Right, I said, Mom, but he was talking. He said, so if you're talking, you want somebody to come knock the daylights out of you? Now, why didn't you hit the big guy then? It's amazing. It's amazing. You got a temper, but you won't hit the big guy. You go hit the little guy.
That's really cool. Yeah. Literally, you got the body of a 25-year-old. Certainly, you're 60, almost 60. You could be 40, and you'd be better shape than most 40-year-olds. It's amazing. Tell us a little bit about your training, like this discipline of persisting and this pushing yourself that you've always done your whole life, pushing beyond what anybody could imagine. How much of a role those two things played in your life and your success?
Well, the big thing was, at a young age, my mama would tell us, if you don't break nothing, you don't have to fix nothing. So don't go tearing stuff up. You don't get no bad habits, so you don't have to cease nothing.
Yeah.
And so the whole big thing, and fortunately, I don't think it was great being poor, but a lot of time when you're poor, people don't give you chances.
Yeah.
And so the whole big thing is that so you have to hang out with somebody like you. And my mama would not let me hang out with people who curse and they did all these things. So I ended up becoming better because I was sitting there by myself all the time because the people who lived a better life didn't want to hang out with me. But the people that had a rough life thought I was better than them.
When you look at your career, what stands out for you as the most fulfilling aspect of being a fighter all these years?
Well, making the Olympic team,
So representing America.
Yeah, because we was amateurs. And so everybody wanted to be one of them 12 members who gonna make the Olympic team. And I think I was the last guy that made the Olympic team.
Yeah.
And it was kind of scary because I was actually fighting the amateur world champion. This guy named Ricky Womack. He had beat the Cuban, he had beat the Russian. So the two people who wasn't coming to the Olympics in '84 was the Russian and the Cuban.
Yeah.
But this guy named Ricky Womack had beat them already. And he was a reigning amateur world champion. So to get to LA, I had to beat him.
Wow.
Twice, and I did.
Wow. That must have felt incredible.
Oh, well, it did. Because I remember Howard Cosell was telling me, he said, Evander Holyfield, what kind of chance you think you have with Ricky Wonderful Womack? And I said, well, did he make the Pan American team? And he tell his people, and they looked through the paper, and they said, well, he lost against Evander Holyfield. Then so he grabbed the paper, he looked at the paper, and he said, well, one thing Ricky Womack hadn't done, he never lost a fight back to back. And he said that to me, I said, I haven't either.
That's a chance. That's awesome.
That's it. I'm like, it's just a positive thing that you have to realize.
So how important is that psychological part of this game? How important is your psyche and that sense of certainty going into a fight, and also keeping that certainty when somebody maybe stuns you or they land something?
That's like about 90% of the whole fight, how you think.
Yeah. The whole thing of not quitting, the whole thing of having the certainty you can beat them still.
Well, I'm being in great shape. A person can be in great shape, but he can get hit one time, then all of a sudden it's a mind change.
Yeah.
He can almost give it up.
Tyson's famous for that quote where he says, everybody's got a plan until they get hit in the face.
You're right. You're right.
And the whole thing changes in that moment, right?
Yeah.
You're a very spiritual man. You're a beautiful soul. One of the reasons I want to meet you is everybody I've ever talked to about you said, yeah, he's an unbelievable fighter, but he's an incredible man. And I know the fighting for you, there's almost a spiritual side from fighting for you. Tell me what that means to you when going into a fight and what it's about, and both in the preparation side of it as well as the fight itself.
Well, it's the same fight that the word God say, I let my son die for you, where you can believe. And so if you keep believing, eventually you're going to start winning.
Yeah.
And because as a kid.
How do you keep believing if you aren't winning in the beginning? Because not everybody does in the beginning, right?
Well, only thing I could tell people, as a kid, I was the youngest one, and my brother didn't let me win anything. And I would tell my mama, I said, Mama, they don't never let me win. My mama, they don't supposed to. And I just, so I was the only kid that was the youngest of the family that wasn't winning nothing until I went to the boys club. When I got to the boys club, I was 6 years old. I was better than the kids that were 8 because my mama didn't make no adjustment for me and all that, and let me know that if you want something, you really have to work hard.
Yes.
I said, but if you just give everything to kids never gonna say, okay, don't give me no more. They're gonna keep on letting me win. Then all of a sudden you're gonna
and then they're weak.
Oh, okay, yeah. And that would tend to happen.
What do you think about this society that we've become where parents today give kids trophies for participating? They haven't done anything. They're not disciplined themselves. They're not fun. And it's like everybody deserves a trophy today. How do you feel about that philosophy? And you're a father of 11, right? Is it 6 girls, 5 boys? Is that
Yep, yeah, it is.
So what's your philosophy with your kids? And what do you think of this philosophy? Everybody gets a trophy no matter what for participating.
Well, I think that even though they may get an award, but it's the parents' job to let them know, okay, then, well, what did you do? And so we're kids, people ain't gonna reject now self-interest. I didn't even know this as a kid. I would go to the fight. And I was hoping my guy didn't show up. I didn't want my guy to show up where I wouldn't have to, because I know if I go to the fight, I'm gonna eat, and I'm gonna do this. So all these things come with the fight. Yeah. You having fun, but the rough part, just fight. I was hoping my guy didn't show up, and he showed up every time.
I bet afterwards they wish they hadn't shown up.
The thing is that you won, but you still had to go through that, and which gave you even more confidence that you could do it again.
Yeah.
I said, every fight kind of felt like the first fight. You say you grow, but I still feel the same because the intensity get greater and greater.
Yeah.
Like that.
How do you keep increasing your intensity over the decades?
Well, because that's repetition make you better.
Yeah.
Even if you think you ain't getting better, if you practicing, you getting better.
Yes, repetition is the key to mastery of anything. But if you keep doing it, you start at a different level, and you just keep growing from there. Is that the essence of it?
Yeah, because you don't forget nothing. You keep practicing, and that's just like if you stop asking, then you may not want it anymore. And you stop asking.
Yeah.
If you keep asking, that lets you know you still want it.
And that hunger. Where is that hunger coming from you that you still have at 58 years old? The hunger that gets you to, you're doing 2-a-days at 58 years old and you don't even have a fight you need to prepare for. Where does that hunger come from? So every person I've ever met who is extraordinary in business and finance and entertainment, the one thing they have is this hunger that is insatiable, and you clearly have it, not by what you say, but by the way you live. Where does that hunger come from for you?
Well, I think that anything that you love, it got a hunger in, so you'll know by the love that you have. This is the reason why, somebody may try to be like you, and it's hard. And it's a joy for you to do it. It's easy.
Yeah.
I'm like,
because you love it.
Yeah, because you love it. And so that same thing, getting up early in the morning and stuff like this. I get up 4 o'clock in the morning. I get up and I read this word and all this to prepare me for what the day may be.
Yeah. There's so many people that want a better life, but they don't do anything about it. And it's like very oftentimes they even make a decision to do it. But to me, the thing they're missing is the rituals. Like you've got rituals that you have drove in and you just don't break them. Like 4 a.m., most people's idea get up at 4 a.m. I go to bed at 4 or 5. I have a different time zone than you do. Yeah. But the same kind of discipline that you know what you do, you give it every single time. How important are rituals to being the best in the world at something?
Well, they're very important because it starts by habits.
Yeah.
Now, all habits not bad.
Right.
I'm talking a good habit will allow you to succeed when you're not even trying to.
Yeah.
I'm about to end a bad habit. You failing when you don't even know you're failing.
Yeah.
Like that. So this is the reason why you have parents.
What are your top 2 or 3 habits that throughout your life have caused you to keep growing and succeeding?
I think the love that I have for the Lord Jesus Christ.
Yes.
And my mama told me, my mom said, all right now, boy, you better stop calling. Anything happened to me when I was a kid, I was, mama, I was crying all this. I thought my mama can save me for anything. My mom said, let me tell you something, boy. You better start calling Jesus, boy. Like that. So the first time I know that Jesus worked, when my mama was whooping me and I called Jesus on her, and my mama stopped. Which is the first time.
That's a miracle all by itself from what you told me.
That was hand. Then the first time I lost a fight, and this kid beat me, and they Cecil Collins. And
how old were you?
I was 11.
11, wow.
Then he beat me when I was 12.
You still remember his name?
And yeah. And that same guy, after I beat Mike Tyson the first time, when he stopped boxing at 13. When I beat him, I finally beat him at 13.
Okay.
And only
it took you 2 years to beat him, huh?
No. Only way I beat him, I called Jesus. Please, Jesus, help me beat him. Help me. Because I only did everything to try to beat him 2 times, and he don't beat me 2 times. And so I called Jesus, And I fought him. I win this fight. So he didn't fight no more. In 1996, when I come home, I walk in the house and I see this white guy sitting there. And I go, Cecil Collins. And everybody said, you still remember him? I said, how can you forget the first white guy that beat you twice? I said, man, you didn't grow. I said, like, he's still about 5'6",
yeah.
weigh about 147 pounds.
Wow.
And he still has hair the same way, just hanging in his eye like this. But I remember that's how I was when he beat me.
What happens when two fighters both call on Jesus?
Well, you know,
Jesus gave me the strength. What happens then?
See, the same. That's how it was when it was me and George Foreman, and everybody mentioned, oh, you know, George is a Christian too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who God gonna go for? I said, well, have George been a heavyweight champ before? They said, yeah. I said, okay, then he had his turn. It's my turn.
That's it.
I said, that's it. I'm like, after ain't no sense getting mad about it.
I love it. Well, listen, I want to get in the ring here with you because it seems like that's the right place. And we can spend a little time. I know you're going to show me a few moves, but I just want to ask you questions in the ring because I notice people, you know, you give answers differently sitting in a chair than when you're in what you love, right?
Okay.
So can we pop in there? Sure. Show me a few things?
Oh, okay.
Make me look like I know something?
Oh, well, I'm sure everybody knows something. They want to be getting it there.
Okay, you got it, champ. Let's do it.
All right.
Okay, well, this is a moment I didn't think I was going to have. I got Evander Holyfield putting boxing gloves on me here. Thank you, brother. The day that changed Tony's life and career.
So you got that? You got one on a Ready Bowl hand. Ready Bowl, the one that have the big old hands like that.
Oh, yeah?
Get them by extra glove. You're going to push off the right leg.
Okay.
Boom. Yep. Turn it over. Turn it over. Yeah. Yeah, like that. Hey.
I'm pushing still. Okay, got it.
You like where you have your hand at right here. Boom. Boom. Yeah. See how hard that is? No. Now, 1, 2. Boom. Boom. Then when you give it right hand, and only way you shift that way, because the left leg goes like this, that means you bring it all the way.
So I'm shift, I'm forward, and then I'm coming back across.
Yep.
Oh, we need to start with the
There
turn.
you go. There you go.
How you feel the difference?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's saying, but you know, if he pushed like this, you go knock him, slap out.
Because he's gonna come.
All that shots in here. So only thing that you got to get back on balance is the left hand. And that's reason the left hand is so important. That's the most important thing. Your lead hand, like this, because if he get past that left hand, even though you hit him hard, you're gonna kill him with this one.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's awesome. I appreciate it. You not only brought great boxing. What I love about you, man, is that you got such a beautiful heart. I know you said, I know you're a strong Christian, and regardless of what his religious belief is, you live your faith.
Right.
And Sandy was telling me that you send out every morning, like 4 a.m., you send out another piece from the Bible to like 300 or 400 people. Is that true?
Yeah, I sure do. I'm like, but this is
that's your mission, man. It seems like
it comes down, I feel that so you have to be thankful for what he gave you.
Yes.
And now I see a lot of people that just like yourself speak real well, and I said, man, I didn't get that gift. Then I start thinking about you have to be happy with what you got.
Yeah.
I'm saying, and this is how you get a little bit more.
That's right.
And you got to be thankful and happy for what you have.
Yes.
Yeah.
So part of your philosophy is to live in a beautiful state then, right? To live in a happy state, appreciative state, a grateful state. So how do you balance that out with killing somebody? Because a lot of people, when they think of boxing, they don't understand the level of discipline. They don't understand the art. They don't understand that there's a set of combinations here, there's patterns here, and there's thinking here, and there's an art here. It's been called the sweet science boxing, right? Or even martial arts, because I work with a lot of warriors, I call them, right? Boxers, athletes, UFC guys. And the level of discipline is insane. Mike, I've done an interview with him recently, and Mike's talked about how he was forced in the game, he was shaped by people that he feels didn't really look out for him. They turned him into a killer, and he doesn't want to be a killer. And so it's like he's gone through this transition in his life of hating that part of himself that got honed. But you got to be able to destroy somebody. But you seem to just be able to destroy him in the ring and still love on him afterwards, it seems like.
The fact is...
How do you do that? How do you balance that?
Well, it's a discipleship. So the thing is the fact is that you're taking a chance. So life is taking a chance. It's almost like walking in faith. You got to feed your family.
Yes.
So, you go find a great job where you can feed your family.
Yes.
And so consistently, somebody else wants your job.
Yes.
And then everybody competing for jobs.
Yes.
And so, your job just as important as my job because you got a family you got to feed.
That's right.
And this is what life is really about. But they got the enemy. The enemy try to look at people's skin color, their height, why he got the job, I didn't have the job, and destroy. And God made people, and when He made people, made everybody the same. And they just got different colors. But the devil's job is to divide to conquer.
Yeah.
To make you hate this person. If you hate this person, you get somebody on your side, maybe y'all can take advantage of this person. But the fact of the matter, if you do the right thing, then the right thing gonna happen for you.
So what's your advice now to the kids that you talk with? Because you've lived such a full life, right? What do you try to steer them to when you get a chance to influence them? And you have, 11 children yourself, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
How many boys, how many girls?
I had 6 boys, 5 girls.
Okay, you got your hands full, bro.
Well, the fact of the matter, is when anybody said there ain't no good men's out there, I said, you're telling the story. Now, I put 6 out there. Ain't no good women, I put 5 out there. That's how for everybody. But that's how you have to look at life.
Yes. What's your philosophy as a father? What do you try to instill in your children that you've learned?
What I have learned is love is the key. I'm successful because I found something that I love.
Yes.
Now, my mama wanted me to find something that I love, not something that you like, because you can like a lot of things. And that's the reason you may not become successful.
Yes.
But you find something that you love, you're going to be successful.
Yes.
Because that's what love is all. God is love.
I'm with you, brother. I agree with a million percent on that one, man. That's gorgeous. So what's one of the fights in your career? You've had so many. What's one that stands out? Because today, I talk to people about the best story of humanity is the comeback story, right? Because anybody can succeed or get lucky, but being taken to your knees like COVID has done to so many people, I said, the comeback story, that's one that excites every human being. It's the Rocky story, right? It's the guy comes back and they push through it all and they get better than they were before, right? What's been the comeback story for you? What's been one of the tough ones for you that you're proud that you've been able to come back from?
Well.
Is there a particular fight that sticks out?
I have lost 11 times. But in the fact that the time that I lost, it was time where I actually kind of went farther than I should because, I knew my shoulder was hurt, but the guys that I was fighting, I thought I could beat them even hurt.
Oh, God.
I said, that pride kick in there, and I have done things like that, and, so people say, then why you ain't telling them about it? I said, well, because it's my fault. I shouldn't have did that. Why would, with me, just at the end of my career, I started fighting guys that were smaller than me.
Yeah.
And I thought I could beat them even though I was injured. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't get to the decision. I sit there and I go.
So what do you do after that? What do you do after you've disappointed yourself? And because everybody does this at times, right? And I always tell people, it's like success is always the other side of frustration, the other side of rejection, the other side of failure, right? It's like the ability to push through it. So when you come back from one of those, can you think of one that was really rough? How do you get yourself back, back to your top, back to your peak again?
Well, the thing is you had to justify that, hey, this is what I done. This is what I done wrong.
So you owned what you messed up on.
That's right.
So then you know what to fix.
I say that's
instead of blaming the other guy.
Yeah, that's it. Because you know what? Because that's what somebody come. It's your fault, man. That's the other person's fault. You got to be committed to know that you're there to sue you.
And so, what does boxing mean to you? What does it mean to be a boxer in your mind? Like, some people think boxing is just this brutal, sport. You obviously don't look at it that way. What is boxing really? What does it mean to be a boxer?
Well. I guess anybody, when you think you can kind of think in a way that you want, but it's a love to me.
Yeah.
This is something that I found out.
What do you love about it?
Well, the competition, and God gave me just as much strength He gave everybody else.
Yeah.
And now it's who is able to make the adjustment they need to make. I'm like,
Anybody fail as a boxer in your mind? Because you've seen a lot of guys fail who were strong, had a lot of will. What makes a boxer the boxer that doesn't make it?
he quit. I was going to say he quit on himself. Life is about don't quit on yourself. But if you hadn't been taught that, then you get to saying, you know what, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
Because this guy, people get embarrassed if they lose.
Yeah.
You think about it. My mama told me, she said, all right now, you sit here and you know that all these people come to see you. You know they come to see you to win. But you got something come to see you lose. They can't wait to that day that you're gonna lose. See, son, you never lose if you don't quit. Give your best. I'm telling you, the point of the matter, your best is you gave your best.
Yeah.
And say, all right, you didn't win it, but the other guy, you beat.
Right.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So what's kind of like your mission now? Like what excites you? What are you passionate about this stage of life?
Well, just inspiring young people. Because I'm telling you, Coach, I have done what I have done, and so ain't nobody chasing older people trying to be like older people.
Yeah.
I'm saying, because I remember when I was a kid, and this left side for the young people and that side for the old people, and I look over there, man. Hey, I wasn't trying to be like them.
Yeah.
I was trying to be like this, speak like this, but it's the older people who have to have confidence
And the wisdom.
and come back and tell these young people how to help them.
Yeah.
Now, I would never been who I am if these older people didn't help me. I'm like, I remember at the boys club, when the first time I went to boys club, I was 6 years old. And
Is that the first time you fought, 6, 7?
no, my first fight was when I turned 9.
Turned 9, oh my gosh.
When I was 6 years old, we walked to the boys club. We walked about 3 or 4 miles to the boys club.
Yeah.
And so now when we get there, my friend didn't tell me it cost a quarter.
Oh, wow.
If they would have told me it cost a quarter, I would have never went.
Yeah.
So, we walked 3 miles.
Yeah.
All the way to this boys club and found out when I get up there, they had cards and they scratched their number off and they left me up there. And the lady named Miss Hawkins, who was white, and she said, are you a member? I didn't know what member was. Do you have a card? And I go, no, ma'am. She said, well, you're not a member. I said, well, okay. And she said, do you have a quarter? Which shocked me. I said, a quarter? I get nickels. I don't get quarter.
Yeah.
And so after that, she said, where you live? And I told her, by the stadium. So she knew that 3 miles. She said, that's a long way. She said, I said, I can walk. She said, no. And she turned around and she reached in her brassiere and got me a hot quarter.
This is awesome.
And this is what changed my life.
Wow.
Because
The kindness of just one woman who's seeing this little boy.
If I never would have went to that boys club, I never would have been the person who I am. Well, I was at the boys club practically till I was 21 years old.
Wow. How often during the day when you're not in school, how often would you be there?
Well, when school get out at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Then I leave and go to the boys club. When I get from the boys club at 9 o'clock, when I get home, it's time to get into bed.
So you'd spend 5-6 hours at the boys club.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the thing was, my mom used to tell me, she said, see, now you got a house in the ghetto, but you don't live in the ghetto.
Oh, that's beautiful. What a beautiful thought. That's gorgeous, man.
So it let me know that if I didn't have this time with these people who were trying to correct people and trying to put people in great position, I wouldn't be who I am.
Yeah. Who were one of your first mentors or coaches? Who was the man who originally said you could be champion of the world? And what did you learn from him?
Well, but Carter Morgan, he was older, and when he see me hit that bad, and
you're bleeding and you kept hitting.
and he tell his son, he said, oh, this guy gonna be the champion. And of
the world when you're 8 years old. He's looking at this.
He said, this guy gonna be the champion. And his son didn't say nothing. Then all of a sudden, and so when he passed at 16, and his son, so he tell his son, because they knew he was gonna pass, and he told his son, you need to go over there and all that. And his son came over there, and his son seen me hit that bag when I was 16. I weighed 139 when I was 16.
Wow.
And he seen me hit this bag, and then, oh my goodness, Daddy was talking, right, God, dog. I was wondering how in the world you gonna be crazy about this kid here? When, even like we played, his son, them in football.
Yes.
His daddy would sit on our side. He said, well, Evander gonna run by 2 or 3 touchdowns on you. And I run 2 or 3 touchdowns too.
Did you really?
He said,
oh my gosh.
He said, y'all kids are smart, and these kids here train hard.
Wow.
Like that. So but this man, he paid for everything that I ever did.
Wow.
I actually thought boxing was for free because he paid for everything.
Wow.
Then all of a sudden, one day the people told me, said, boxing ain't free. He said, your coach paid for everything. He told us to take care of you and all this. And I realized, I said, wow, here I am thinking that boxing the only thing that you can just go free and all. And I found that you have to pay for all the tournaments.
Yeah.
But that man took care of me.
Wow.
Like that. And said, but this is a reason why I do give. Because I realized he didn't have to get it. I wasn't his kid. But he made sure that everything was right for me.
When you look at your life today, what are you most grateful for?
Well, I'm thankful. Number one thing is Jesus.
Yeah.
And the second thing is Jesus, my mom. And then, we're going on that third, and I think about my coach, Carter Morgan.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, if you, I'm going to see Mike. And what does knowing that God is in charge do for you in terms of giving you peace or giving you strength? Like, how does it affect you knowing that God is in charge? You still got to do your part, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
But the fact that God's in charge, what does that do for your psyche?
Well, it let me know that he always, because he already telling, I'm not going to forsake you. Mm-hmm. So you got to know that he's not going to forsake you. That means that
even if it looks like it in the short term.
I think he's going to give you another chance.
Yeah.
Well, God, if you don't quit, he'll give you another chance.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Evander, you're a beautiful soul. And I'm so grateful to get to spend a little time with you here and really feel who you are, because everybody knows who you are. As a boxer, you're a legend, but as a man, you're a legend as well.
Yeah, thank you.
And I know that your mother has to be one happy, grateful human being to see what her boy became and who he continues to become. Such a giver, such a lover, so disciplined, so driven, and a man who's constantly contributing and pushing himself. I think those are values that we all can value for ourselves. If we did, our whole world would get better, because we get better. We got more to give, don't we?
Exactly.
It's pretty beautiful. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man.
And thanks you for the lesson here.